It is Rachel and John. It's our late night part of the program. And if you're listening to us, make sure you come back to wherever you're listening to. If you're watching it on YouTube and Facebook, come back to that every Friday night at 10 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. We would appreciate. Or if you want to come and hang out while we're recording one of these things, it's at 5 Foster Plaza in Green Tree. Free parking, Jagoffs. Like there, you don't have to complain like, well, I have to park. There's a whole parking lot.
Don't complain because it's a happy hour. Maybe not tonight. We don't have anything flowing.
Right. All of our guests are going to say, where was the happy hour?
Yeah, exactly. But we promise that's what we do. And the other thing that we do regularly is write blog posts specifically about Pittsburghers. Listen, we like to say we boast about good things happening in Pittsburgh, but we do call out a couple of Jags. So basically, if you parked incorrectly or you did something that really made headlines, we're going to call it out on our blog post like we did this week. Dumb criminal with lottery tickets.
Right. I don't understand. Well, first of all, I don't understand criminals anymore because there's a camera in everybody's pocket,
exactly,
on everybody's porch. But the fact is, when you steal a whole package of lottery tickets,
yes,
do you not know that they're numbered?
Right.
And do you not know that somebody, like 9 different people account for those things? So somebody stole lottery tickets and tried to sell them basically to their friends and scratch them off, trying to make a whole bunch of money.
That's stupid.
Come on, the trail's right there. It's like you put your hand in the cookie jar.
Right.
The Oreo crumbs are all over your face.
Right.
It's the same kind of thing, you Jagoff.
The other thing, you and I were walking through the North Shore at the water steps. What do we see? A pair of socks. Have no idea why they were there. We don't know who lost them, but they were trashy and just sitting there.
How do they not know that they left their socks there at the water steps?
But the big news was Women Who Rock is coming August the 28th. We cannot wait. And we actually got to speak with Margot Bingham. How much fun was that? And what did you find out about her?
I had no idea while I was editing it that she's Craig Bingham's, former Steelers daughter.
But guess what? We didn't even talk about that because of course we love our Steelers, but she is a gem of her own and we didn't need to bring up the Steeler talk. So what we are going to talk about tonight is some great music. So we get to welcome Edward Leonard. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
We're so happy to have you. Tracy, who books this, was like, you guys, I got you some mega stars this time. So we're pretty stoked. No pressure or anything like that. So you are our musician. What can we expect later on tonight?
Well, I won't be playing, and our concertmaster is going to be playing, but we are a 10-year-old classical music group. We perform typically at Road of Shalom and Shadyside.
Yes.
We play everything and trying to fill a kind of void in this size orchestra in Pittsburgh.
Sure.
Okay. And I guess most people think of it going downtown to the orchestra,
right?
But you can kind of bring it, I don't want to say like a bar band of orchestra, but that's
kind of. And free parking.
Yeah. Right. So I like the fact you're making it more user-friendly and more attainable for someone.
Right. This it's if you know classical music, you have orchestras like the Pittsburgh Symphony, very large, 70 to 100 more plus on stage at Heinz Hall. Beautiful, excellent. And then you have smaller groups called chamber groups, chamber music. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4 people. So you have like the small and the large. A chamber orchestra is in between. So we have anywhere from 16 to 40 people.
Wow. And this volunteer, paid? How does that
these
work?
are all the best freelancers in the city. So these are principal musicians at the opera. They're principals in the Wheeling Symphony. They sub in the Pittsburgh Symphony. They're terrific professional musicians.
Wow.
And it's interchangeable, essentially. So when someone is needed, as you said, freelance,
they
come.
It's freelance. We have a core of players that we go to, and we have contracted players. But yeah, the pieces we play, they're flexible. So sometimes we have just string players. Sometimes we have like a full orchestra with winds and brass, sometimes percussion. So it changes.
Okay. And what is the upcoming, is it a season? Is that what we would call it? Okay.
Season
what
of
is
6
that?
concerts. So we
okay.
start September 7th, and it'll be a string concert, just string orchestra. Throughout the season, we're going to feature a harp soloist. We're going to
feature. It's my
feature.
favorite.
Yeah.
Were you cute on that?
I was.
Okay.
So a harp soloist. We'll have a cembalo, if you know what that is. It's like a hammered dulcimer. We're going to have a cembalo concerto, which I've never heard of before. So there was one written about 2 years ago that we're going to play. We're doing Beethoven. We're doing Mozart. We're commissioning a piece by Trevor Weston, who's a composer living in Brooklyn. So we're doing everything.
I love that. Where can everybody find out more about you? I'm sorry. Where can they follow you?
We have a Facebook page, and if you just look up Chamber Orchestra of Pittsburgh, and we have a website, copgh.org.
Okay.
Nice.
Go ahead. You were going to ask
All right.
something.
No,
Sorry.
no. I just love the fact that you're bringing it again kind of closer to the audience.
It's an intimate experience, and there's a majesty and kind of
It's a good word.
To go to Heinz Hall to make an event to go, you park, you go in, and there's thousands of people, and there's a Pittsburgh Symphony, and amazing. This is a little bit more intimate. You're like this close to the players. We love to hang out and talk afterwards. There's always a reception. We love talking about the pieces.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you help people understand? Because I
Yes.
know the War of 1812 Overture, boom, the thing.
Right,
And,
exactly.
You help them understand
Exactly. So we always have program notes. I always try to, what do you listen for? Why is this important? Why are we doing it? And so, like, we'll commission a piece and we'll play it alongside something that maybe is familiar, like a Mozart symphony or something that's really kind
Sparks
of
something.
everybody loves, and then
Sure.
also introduce a new piece. So it's normalizing new music, which is kind of scary to a lot of people.
I love it.
I love it. It's cool. Well, I don't know if you've been warned about the question of the day here, but that's how we string the episode together.
You're first, so that basically means that everybody else gets to hear it. So
Okay.
you're sort of the trendsetter.
All right.
And it wouldn't be a question of the day if it wasn't posed today and going like crazy. So people have been answering
Facebook
online
page,
on
yeah.
our Facebook page. Did you pass your license test the first time?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. That
Yes,
was
he said
Wow.
yes.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. And I
Almost-
love that he
almost
looked
didn't.
down like, yeah, Rachel,
Of course.
what's your answer?
No, I almost lost it on the parallel parking.
Everybody says
Oh,
that.
It was
yeah.
because it's last, and
Yes.
you feel like you've got it beat.
Yep. And
But
then it happened.
and I did nudge they put like a pole, and I pretended like I just braked really hard. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
But that's what I did for sure.
And I do understand that you brought us a junk drawer gift. Is that correct?
I did. Can I run and get it?
Oh yeah, go
Yeah.
run
Hold
and
on,
get
I'll
it.
be back.
And while
John.
you do that, I'll kill time with
Go
the fact
ahead.
that I told the audience before my son's answer to the question of the day is 5. So
5
now
times.
you know how extreme that would be. 5 different locations, 5 different times.
I feel like as a parent, I would say, hang it up, get that
This
bike
was
out.
even with a
and you're
backup
good.
beeper kind
You
of
are-
thing, right?
Right. It was during
Yeah,
that
that's
era.
right. So-
All right, you're back.
So this is truly a junk drawer item. Now this might look just like an ordinary pencil, but this is something that especially conductors use to mark their scores. So there's so much
awesome.
there's so much going on that I found this is made by Mitsubishi, believe it or not. But I've found what you want to do is mark the score so you're not reading 1,000 things at once, but you're kind of pointing out who's coming in now. What am I trying to do? So it's a red side and a blue side. So
I
there's
love
something
that.
that really gets your attention and something that's kind of like just
and
a,
here I thought it was for
is
goofy golf.
awesome, and we even have room in
not.
our junk drawer for it. That's
yeah,
the
this
best.
one you can
Not
tell
a
it's
miniature
it's a well-used pencil, and I can't write with it.
I
anymore.
love
love
it.
that.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. You're going to come back and perform with us with a violinist. In the meantime, this is Rachel and John, and now it's Mitch Minutes. We're going to find out how Mitch Dugan became
How
a
did it all
lawyer.
happen?
Because I was born and raised here, and I love this area, and I love the people here, and growing up in a working class family, and then you see some carpetbaggers coming in trying to take business away from people. When I got out of law school 150 years ago, there weren't many workers' comp lawyers. In fact, that was the interesting thing about the gentleman that I got in with right out of law school, was he was one of the first attorneys in this area of the state that did work injuries. So what happened was the laws had changed over the years, and nobody wanted to do workers' comp as a lawyer because apparently there wasn't enough money in it to make a living, I guess. I don't know. And the gentleman that I worked for, when he got out of law school, he was just doing a little bit of everything, whatever he could get. And he started doing work injuries, and nobody wanted them, and they would start referring him cases. And that was the gentleman I started working with. And in 1972, there were amendments to the Workers' Comp Act, which changed it. And it changed the compensation rate for employees based more realistically on their earnings. And then it took about 10 years before people thought, okay, well, now I can make a living doing this, so more attorneys got involved in it. And then in the last 20 years, you've just seen an influx of everywhere. In Pittsburgh, people are coming in from Florida and Philadelphia and West Virginia. Obviously they don't make enough money where they're at. They have to come here because apparently they can't support themselves. I don't know. I'm kidding. But,
Welcome to Fernandez. Can I take your orders?
You need a tablet?
No, we don't use this. We know how to yell the sandwich to cook. Here we go.
Dig in.
It's John and Rachel. We love to dig into iconic Pittsburgh places like Permanis. So we brought our friends from people's gas.
Please call at least 3 business days before you dig.
It doesn't matter if it's a big project or something small like a mailbox. Always call before you dig.
I called. We can dig in.
So please call 811 3 business days before excavating so you don't have to call 911.
I've been thinking that Rohrich Automotive needs a new jingle.
Rohrich Automotive got the best cars around Pittsburgh.
Driving a Rohrich, I bought it at Rohrich. Picked up my new car at Rohrich Automotive. I got friends at Rohrich Automotive where the staff is nice and the dealership's loaded with brand new cars. And you can drive real far.
It's Rachel and John, and we are back, and it's episode 43 of our late night podcast and radio show. And we appreciate being here again at Foster Plaza, 5 Foster Plaza. You can come here when we go live to tape 5 to 6 every Friday. Typically, there are cocktails, and we won't say that again because each one of our guests keep saying where are the cocktails. Normally, we have a lot of noise in the background, so Marin has a little surprise we're going to talk about in a little bit that is making noise, and that's our little catch, right? Our little
she's the big
In the
news.
meantime, Marin Patron, you are from the Pittsburgh Irish Festival, so welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I love being here with you guys.
You need a Steve Martin jacket. Like Steve Martin has been on Saturday Night Live 17 times.
Oh,
Like that's you.
I should. Okay,
Right. We need to do something.
Where's my?
I know. It's on us.
Where's my 5?
It's on us.
It's the 5 Timers Club, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly
Wait till
right.
you see what Jack, Rachel's dad, has prepared for our guests in the near future. So you'll be retrofitted with it.
It's new.
I would love that. I'll wear it all the time.
I know you would. I know. You've been a supporter. Obviously, let's start there. Marin has been on the podcast so many times because we have been big supporters of the Irish Festival, brings such good culture. Obviously, the fact that John and I are both Irish helps because we want to know more about these traditions. But we love that you're getting so much more into the communities with more programming. The Irish Festival isn't the only thing that you guys do, but it's coming September 6th, 7th, and 8th, and we are at Carey Furnace again. Fantastic location. Tell us about something that's new this year.
So, first of all, thank you for all the kind things that you've said. It's been an honor to get to know you guys and consider you part of the Irish Festival family throughout these last few years. And I think I want to start right off the bat by saying the Carey Furnace has seen a ton of improvements in the last year.
Yeah.
So people and we continue to expect to see those improvements while we're there, and we'd love for them to be our longtime home. So I want people to know you're going to see something really different when you come down there.
Right.
That's cool. So if you've been there before, you haven't been there.
You haven't been there yet.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So there you go. Now you
Right.
have no reason not to check it out again. But so we got a lot of cool new things happening this year and amazing entertainers. We're so excited about our entertainment this year. And I can get into them in its own segment. But we're doing some new food and drink options. We're doing some new baked good options. And we're bringing in some new exhibits, 2 of which I'm really excited about. Many people are familiar with the 32 counties of Ireland. We've got an exhibit that it will be a display of each of the counties, what makes them unique, what famous people who have come from those counties.
I love
and
that.
then also people can read a little bit about maybe the county they're from. If they learned that their ancestors came from a certain county in our genealogy area, they can go read about the county in the exhibit. So that's pretty cool. And the other one I'm really excited about is called Blazing Trails. And it's a full exhibit that came from the Epic Museum in Dublin, Ireland on the women of the Irish diaspora.
Oh,
So
wow.
anything from the Irish women that came over and became part of the suffragette movement to Irish women in the States who came up with medical developments and miracles. So famous actresses, and people can really get a good idea about how the women from Ireland really made an impact on the culture we're in today here in America and over there.
And Marin, for those who haven't participated in the past, first you're a Jagoff. Second of all, this isn't just like a big St. Patrick's Day party where everybody's drinking green beer. Love the culture. Like I've learned so much about the culture of which I grew up in an Irish church, so I know so much more because of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we have is what we consider to be a really authentic representation of Irish culture, and not just historically, but what Ireland is like now and what Ireland hopes to be in the coming decades and centuries. And so everyone can have fun. We don't have green beer we do have a lot of beer, but it's not green at the Pittsburgh Irish Festival. But practicing authenticity is really important. And some people say, everyone's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. Well, everyone's Irish at the Pittsburgh Irish Festival.
Right.
So you don't have to be Irish to enjoy it and to learn something. The music is universally loved. The food is universally loved. The kids' activities, they don't necessarily know what they're doing has some Irish roots to it. And so that's really important to us. And I appreciate you saying that.
I think Pittsburgh, too, I want to speak for us in a positive way. I think that we're embracing other cultures in general. I don't think I love the fact that each of our neighborhoods represents some culture, different ethnicities. It's always been set up that way. But I see that we're opening up more and wanting to know about other cultures. So that's exactly what this is all about.
Yeah, I think now more than ever, celebrating our history and our culture and where we came from. I mean, Pittsburgh is the perfect kind of microcosm melting pot of what the United States is. And so I think every culture has really played a significant role in our development as a city. Ireland, heavily so. I mean, it's the third most populous nationality claimed in Allegheny County. And so why wouldn't we do everything we can to celebrate that, to preserve it, to introduce it to new generations, and to also learn about what's it like in Ireland now?
Sure.
What are they interested in? What will we get down the line?
They're still wearing wooden shoes over there.
They're not.
They have iPhones and things too, right?
They do have iPhones. Yeah.
And so, and I like the fact that you even bring the sports component to it, right? So you've done that over the years, and you even have a new component to that.
Yeah. Well, so I should say that the Pittsburgh's women's hurling team, which is a Gaelic sport, it wins the Super Bowl of women's hurling in the U.S. every year. We're Pittsburgh. We're sports fans. Like, let's go. Yeah. Show up to those games.
Marin, I played rugby, so I feel like I could be on that team.
Ask her how many
Tell my family. They will make fun of me.
They recruit players at the festival. But yeah, we have major Gaelic sports represented at the festival. But new this year is we're going to do some stone lifting competitions.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like competitions with cash prizes where lads and lasses can come and show us their strength and tell us if they're strong enough to lift the stone.
I love it.
Which in ancient times was really the way that you developed your manhood. And this is my rite of passage. I'm old enough to support my family by lifting this stone. And now women do it too. Some of the women beat the men in the stone lifting.
I love that.
But that'll be a cool new element for people to learn about, and it's really historical.
And sponsored by which chiropractic company?
Yeah. The insurance was insane for it.
But on a personal level, speaking of new, what is the new thing that you have to tell us? Who's joining you today?
Oh, yeah. So in the crowd is the next Irish Festival director, Parker Ray Patron, my 3-month-old daughter, who has been beautifully not crying, even though you told us we could make noise.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She's not crying.
She's not.
That's because we said that.
But
right. We said be quiet.
Yeah, she certainly has brought more joy to this planning process than ever
Walked
before.
in here tonight, and Parker was in just so bright-eyed. It did not anticipate that, actually.
Yeah. And I know we were going to talk about junk drawer items.
Yes.
She's my first show until
tonight.
So tell us, what did you bring us for our junk drawer?
Oh, we're all right.
Yeah, you can junk drawer us.
I brought something that's in my junk drawer, but is really important to me.
Okay.
So it's not junk.
Okay.
So this is a Connemara marble Irish worry stone. And the lore behind it is that it's from Ireland, and if you rub it, it'll make your worries go away.
I love this.
Yeah.
And we get to keep it?
You can keep it. And so I have one that I've kept with me forever, and I can be an anxious person from time to time as an event planner.
That's fantastic.
You never know. And so it is a really great way to displace some of that into a little piece of Ireland.
Nice.
Wow.
Now we have we know about social media, and we want to have you answer a couple of questions, but the first question you have to answer is, how many times did it take you to complete your driver's test?
Just one.
Just one?
Yeah, but I got a funny story.
A
funny story if we have time.
All right.
So my birthday is June 25th, and so I got my permit on June 25th. 6 months later, when you can get your license, is December 25th.
Oh, wow.
So I had to wait till December 27th to get it, and I was furious, and there was no way I was going to fail.
Wow.
That's a good story that you won't forget. Marin, everybody seems to love the Irish Festival. True story?
I think so. I hope so.
Do you ever get any kind of no, I didn't like it kind of thing?
Yeah, I get some interesting comments on social media from the trolls.
Social media is live by the sword, die by the sword,
I
essentially,
thought it'd be
right?
fun to come prepared with a few
Do
for
it.
you
We're ready.
and tell you why they're wrong.
All
Is that
right.
okay?
Okay,
All right.
let's go.
So I'm going to
Let's
read
go.
these. I'm not going to name names
Okay,
because
good. All right.
that just feels a little too rude.
Yeah, that's not our style. Right?
And those that are really mean, we'll give you a worry stone.
Sure.
We have
Bring
50
me the worry
seconds.
stone
Right.
back.
Yes.
Yeah. So this one says, there's nothing Irish about it.
Oh.
Well, it's all Irish.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my answer to that.
Yeah.
And I said, we have a lot of Irish things. I'm sorry you missed them when you attended. And he said, don't beg. It's unbecoming of you.
Oh.
And I said, nobody's begging. Just don't come. So that's the first one.
This is going to make everybody want to hate your fate. Good. Do
Here's
it.
the next one. And this one did make me laugh. And they said, I bet you can buy gutters and windows there. Well, you can.
Yeah.
You can. And I'll tell you why. Because that gutter booth helped pay for the cultural exhibits we just talked about.
Yeah.
And that window booth helped pay for the Irish band on stage.
Nice.
And so that's what I said back to them. So while we still focus on authenticity, we got to pay the bills. So maybe on one corner you're seeing the windows, but in the next corner you're seeing a beautifully curated craft made in Ireland.
You need to check out the video that's coming up next. Make sure you go to PittsburghIrishFest.org.
Yeah,
Boom!
PGH.
Get your tickets.
PGHIrishFest.org.
Check it out, and we got to hang out with your dads. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Mancini's Bakery, 97 years in business and still getting better. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's where you will see various Pittsburgh personalities like Gretchen McKay, Super Bowl MVP Santonio Holmes, KDKA's own Mary Hours, and WPXI's Jenna Harner, learning how to make the famous Italian twist bread. Follow Mancini Bakery on Instagram and Facebook, and remember to ask for Mancini's. PittsburghUsedCars.com. With hundreds of used cars across 8 dealerships throughout the city, we provide the greater Pittsburgh area with a premium used car buying experience. Looking for unbeatable pricing on some of the best used cars in Pittsburgh? Visit Pittsburgh Used Cars Clearance Zone today. We're providing out-the-door pricing on all of our clearance zone inventory. PittsburghUsedCars.com.
Who are we standing next to?
Who's this guy?
His Majesty.
We are standing next to my 100% Italian father, who for 3 days out of the year turns from Patron to Au Patron.
Mm-hmm. From psychologist to apron-wearing stew maker.
We are in the kitchen that I grew up in, with my Italian father and my Irish mother, cooking my great granny's recipes that she brought over from Ireland that my dad became an expert in. And we are going to size it down a little bit from what we typically do at the festival. And where we're normally making 20,000 bowls of stew, we're going to just make you two a couple bowls of stew.
Yeah.
No, you can make the 5,000.
Oh, sure. All right.
Do you know that
I have an SUV.
For a while, people thought my name was Stu.
Rachel and Sean, we're back, and so far having a good time here, reminding you to just subscribe to the podcast, listen to the radio show. And Rach, this is one of your favorite guests because this is the first time I've actually met in person, because had been on the radio with us in the past and witnessed her at an event just the other day.
Golf outing,
Golfing.
Yes. She did great. Yes. Fantastic. So Janice Burley Wilson, we love talking to you, and here's my reason. And I told you this on the radio last year. I had the honor of meeting you when I worked for the Tribune Review 100 years ago, and you were making hats for the hat luncheon. How far back does that go? Like,
that was a long
1999.
time ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're only in our 30s. So
I know.
who knew?
We still look the same.
Who knew? We do. We do. So I'm so happy that we finally get to talk to you in person, because you are doing some great things in our city. Specifically, we got to talk to you about a festival that is coming back already. Who knew that was a year ago already?
I
and
know.
it did wonderfully, right? The Jazz Festival.
The time flies. It just flies so fast. Yes, Pittsburgh International Jazz Festival.
International. I love that.
The International
Yes.
Jazz Festival. And it actually is.
Yes.
We have artists that are coming from different parts of the world. But I started it in 2011.
Okay. And when you say I started it, this was you and like with a vision, with other people taking the idea?
Well, obviously, I mean, it wasn't just me
Sure.
by myself, but I came up with the idea in 2010, actually.
Okay.
But we'll be celebrating the 15th year in 2025.
Wow.
Yeah, so I look a little bit different.
Yeah.
But, but it has grown every year. It's gotten a little bit bigger. It's gotten a little bit better. We attract people from all over the country. We have people that have been coming to the festival for 10 years, and they're coming from California, Arizona, Canada. They're coming from all over. So,
and how did that happen? I mean, is that just with growth, like anything?
I think
year after year, you hear more about it.
Yeah, I think it's growth. We advertise nationally.
Okay.
We have partners. We partner with other festivals in other cities.
Okay.
And so just, you go back to the same events that if you enjoy it, you go back every year. You take friends, and it grows that way.
And the artist, does our place get a name? Like, oh, wow. One artist speaks to another and says, wow, have you gone there? They really treat you well.
Oh, yeah. I get emails and calls all the time from artists that want to play.
Yeah.
And we treat our artists very well. Pittsburgh is very unique in that. And being from Pittsburgh, Pittsburghers are friendly. If you get lost, a Pittsburgher is going to say, follow me, and we'll drive them all the way there to their destination. We're just friendly people. And so when the artists come here, they are so well received and treated so well by us, but also by the audience, that they just love coming back.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
But Pittsburgh is also known for jazz.
Yes. Pittsburgh has a rich jazz history, the Hill District, and even and a lot of other towns that we don't really talk much about, but towns that were located along rivers where there were still steel mills, and the community was very thriving at one time. You think about Braddock, you think about Claret, and places like that. There were jazz clubs throughout all of those neighborhoods.
Was that sort of like the hipster music of the day, the high end, or why did that go?
I feel like jazz has just always been around.
That was where the people were, and that's where the money was.
That's where the people were. That's where the money was. That's what people were listening to.
Okay.
Pittsburgh is a stop between Chicago and New York, so you'd get a lot of musicians that would, as they're touring, they would play in Cleveland. They'd stop in Pittsburgh. They might play downtown and then go to a club in the Hill District, a late night set there. And then they would go on to New York. So we have a very rich legacy, and we have a lot of great musicians that were born and raised here. George Benson, Art Blakey, George Benson, Hill District, Art Blakey, why am I blanking here? Billy Eckstein, and so many others were from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And did we lose that history when, I know the Civic Arena being built? Did we lose that history, or it just got kind of put in a cupboard somewhere, and now we're rejuvenating that?
I don't think we lost it.
Okay, good.
I think we lost the venues.
Yeah.
We lost the resources. People weren't, they didn't have their homes or their businesses in those locations anymore, in those neighborhoods. And so maybe the venues moved around, but the music still continued. People were still here playing the music, listening to the music. Yeah.
So almost 15 years, but strangely enough, there are times, just like the Irish Festival around for 30 some years, that people don't realize it's here. So what can someone expect? Tell us, when is it, and what can a first timer expect if they're coming?
Well, I'll start out with the month of September. Leading up to the festival, we're going to have concerts in different neighborhoods. We're working with Carnegie Libraries in Pittsburgh. There'll be some jazz concerts, all free, in a few of the libraries around around the region. We'll also have music at the airport. So if you're coming in and you're waiting for your bags, there might be a band playing.
I love that.
We'll have some music in malls, at universities. So that's leading up to the festival. On September 19th, we have the Jazz Train, which we started last year.
I remember this.
Yes, I remember talking about this. Yeah,
in partnership with Amtrak. So on the 19th of September, which is a Thursday, if you're in New York, or actually we had people that flew from other cities to New York to get on the train. We had a couple from Memphis that flew to New York.
Wow.
You get on the train in New York, musicians get on, it stops in Newark, New Jersey, then it stops in Philadelphia, and there's a jam session all the way to Pittsburgh. Gets in about 8 o'clock.
So unique.
Thursday night. Yeah, so that'll be fun. That'll be hosted by a jazz musician named Orrin Evans, who's based out of Philadelphia, and a whole crew of musicians that'll be getting on at each stop. And it was so much fun. I figured, okay, we'll sleep half of the time, but nobody
like
slept.
Yeah.
Oh no, we were going back and forth to the cafe car getting wine, and we had food, and it was just really good time. That's on
cool.
Thursday. Everybody will get in from the train Thursday night. We'll be directing people to Con Alma, which is a jazz club downtown.
Yep.
There's also going to be a concert with our partners at City Winery with a musician named Jared Lawson.
Okay.
That's happening City Winery Thursday night. On Friday, we have a concert by a jazz vocalist named Mesa. And then right after that, as her concert ends, the Taste of Jazz party is in progress at the August Wilson Center. And we're working with Rhonda Zigarelli,
Oh,
who
yeah.
you probably know.
She
And-
came on last week to talk about it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she and I have been working together on this concept since we started it.
Sure.
And there will be 18 restaurants featured.
Okay.
So Eddie V's.
I love how, in fact, right
Velazzi's,
before we were prepping, she said,
Fogo
don't
de
ask me
Chao.
the number
Here
of
she goes.
restaurants.
She knows.
did-
Oh,
she
yeah,
did it right there.
yeah.
See?
There's a lot of them, but there are 18 great restaurants. Like it's really, you've heard of the Taste of Chicago or the
Yes.
Taste.
Yes.
It's really a taste of Pittsburgh.
She told us there's duck on one of the menus.
Yeah, the food is really good.
Wow.
Where
I'm
does
looking forward
everybody
to
find
it.
out
Yeah.
all the details about the festival?
Okay, so for the whole festival, you can go to pittsburghjazzfest.org.
Or follow your car around. I saw it.
Or follow the car around. So one of our
And-
sponsors is P&W, B&W, and Mini Cooper Motors. And they wrap, meaning
I
when you
saw
wrap,
that.
they put our logo all over the car. So I'm driving a BMW i7, which is a totally electric car.
Nice.
They had to teach me how to plug it into
Maneuver
the
this.
wall before I came here.
Wow.
So I was terrified, thinking, I hope the battery doesn't go out before I get here.
And
But
that's your
it
junk
didn't.
drawer item for us. That
Yeah, you're leaving
Oh
it
yeah, I'm
for
leaving
us.
the car here.
Yeah,
I'm leaving the car
appreciate
here.
that.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
speaking of driving, then, how many attempts did it take you to complete your pass your driver's test?
One.
One.
it's just John and
Everybody?
I was again. I think
No, I was a one. I was a one.
Oh, I wasn't.
Yeah,
I
the
was two.
time was different. I think we didn't have Ubers, we didn't have Lyft. We
Right.
if we wanted to go someplace, we had to drive.
That was it.
Yes.
But I'll
Yes.
tell you a quick story about driving. So, I got my license. My father bought me a car. He bought me. They don't even make this car anymore, but it was a Honda CRX.
Okay.
It was a little sports car, right? And I'm like, oh, I've got this cool car. He specifically bought that car because it was a 2-seater. He didn't want me driving around with a bunch of my friends.
Smart.
And it was a stick shift.
So, you had to
So
learn.
I had to learn how to drive this. If I wanted the car, if I wanted the keys, I had to learn how to drive a stick. Otherwise, I wasn't going anywhere. So it's pretty smart.
Pretty
Okay.
smart,
is
Dad.
smart.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
smart.
All right, we
Junk
have
drawer.
20 seconds left. What do we have for a junk drawer?
Okay, so I
I saw this coming
love hot tamales candy. I've been eating hot tamales.
I mean, she literally was sitting.
And
I
it's
think
open.
was
Sitting there.
wonderful that you
Right.
were-
I've been eating this since high school. I used to get really nervous in typing class. I graduated from Penn Hills High School, class of
Oh,
83.
Shout out. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to my friends in Penn Hills. So I heard Jagoff every day because that's what everybody would say. But I started eating these to calm my nerves in typing class. And I've been eating them ever since. And I was nervous. And so I brought...
That is so clever, though.
I keep a box with me at all times so that if I
That's a
need to
great story.
chill,
There
I
you
pop
go.
a hot tamale.
But you're not nervous anymore.
No.
I love it.
Not anymore.
We love having you. Please come back and talk more about all the amazing culture that you are bringing to our city. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. And I'm going to finish these before
Finish
I'm
them and
gonna
then
leave you
we'll
with the
take
empty
yeah,
box.
no worries. Mancini's Bakery, 97 years in business and still getting better. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's where you will see various Pittsburgh personalities like Gretchen McKay, Super Bowl MVP Santonio Holmes, KDKA's own Mary Hours, and WPXI's Jenna Harner, learning how to make the famous Italian twist bread. Follow Mancini Bakery on Instagram and Facebook, and remember to ask for Mancini's.
Welcome to Fernandes. Can I take your orders?
You need a tappet?
No, we don't use this. We know how to yell the sandwich, the cook. Here we go.
Dig in.
It's John and Rachel. We love to dig into iconic Pittsburgh places like Permanis. So we brought our friends from People's Gas.
Please call at least 3 business days before you dig.
It doesn't matter if it's a big project or something small like a mailbox. Always call before you dig.
I called. We can dig in.
So please call 811 3 business days before excavating so you don't have to call 911.
And there is the Cloud Arbor. Now, this is one of the most fun things. So picture, we can go take a look at it. This is this incredible like metal sculpture, but every few minutes, mist comes out of it. And so kids who are there playing amid this beautiful sculpture suddenly find themselves standing in a cloud. It's also kind of nice on a hot summer day that the whole family can be standing in a cloud. So
I think we need to go stand in the cloud right now.
It's a great.
Listen, there is a first time for everything. I get to introduce the Chamber Orchestra of Pittsburgh, leader of First Violin Section, Ann Moskal.
How about that?
I feel like I have not the right etiquette. I know. I want to like whistle. Like, that was awesome. And thank you so much. So we're going to bring our new friend Eddie back up because he's going to give us a little bit of an explanation. So is that the average length for a song like this? Like sometimes when you hear something orchestra,
Right.
you're assuming it's like church. You're sitting for a while.
Right. Yeah, this was a short piece.
Okay. Obviously for us. Yeah.
Right, but for constraints, time, whatever. But beautiful song, Jay Unger. That of course was a Ashokan Farewell, part of the Civil War series. Ken Burns, and it actually serendipitously like fits because it's very Irish, and you had the Irish Festival.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we love playing everything. As long as it's good, we'll play it.
Sure.
And this was just a great piece to kind of introduce folks to violin music if they haven't heard it.
It's absolutely beautiful. And obviously, I mean, Anne is very well.
She's the best. She's
yeah.
the best.
And what's the caliber of our players here at Pittsburgh? We know that the chefs are upping their game, the sports ups their game, but it seems like classical musicians doing the same thing here.
Yes, Pittsburgh. It's. I always tell people in like arts management, we are so lucky per capita. Like the size of Pittsburgh has an inordinate amount of talent.
Is that right?
Yes, like we are flush with amazing musicians in the city, jazz and classical, all kinds of different music.
Is it helping? And I am, Monica, I'll tell you my bingo card. I am on a school board. North Hills has an amazing orchestra all the time. Mm-hmm. Is it starting younger and that's why?
That's imperative. Yes. Okay. Yeah. There is a bit of a scare in classical music. I think that they were riding high for a while, just because a lot of when we were talking about Pittsburgh as a melting pot.
Sure.
A lot of countries that folks would come from, classical music was just part of their culture, right. And so that's why you had generations of Americans that supported classical music, and as that kind of time marches on, that kind of faded out.
Sure.
Unfortunately, and we're trying to come out and teach people about it and let people know about it, and how it's not something that is unattainable. It's really something that has to do with emotion and feeling and thinking and what's this all about, and it's not as dry as it all seems.
And remind everybody where they can hear you all live, and it's a series of 6, I believe, right?
6 throughout the year, September all the way to May. Actually, Anne will be a soloist in the last concert in a violin concerto by a piece written in the 1990s by Ellen Svilich, who's an American composer. Throughout the year, you can see us at copgh.org, and most of our concerts are at Road of Shalom and Shadyside.
I love that. I love learning this. I mean, this was a theme. We didn't even theme it this way, and it turned out to be so
just
cultural.
Luck, isn't that great?
Yeah, I mean that. Well, I think that means there's so much promise for Pittsburgh, right?
And it's funny because we're commissioning a work, and the composer Trevor Weston,
Uh-huh.
is basing his piece off August Wilson.
Oh,
who was a
my
Pittsburgh-
gosh.
Who was heavily influenced by blues and jazz. And
No question.
Like
6 degrees of
notoriously-
Eddie.
Yeah, exactly. All over the place.
We appreciate it.
Thank
and we
you.
got to thank Tracy, thanks to Johnny, thanks to Michaela, and thanks to everybody who puts it all together. We appreciate you guys coming again. Join us 5 Foster Plaza anytime, any Friday between 5 and 6 p.m. And sometimes there are cocktails and snacks.
We keep saying sometimes,
today,
but
though.
not today. Not
He just
today.
burned us.
I
Right,
know.
he said you're burned.
But we love hearing Pittsburgh stories. If you have one that you want to recommend, please do so. In the meantime, every week you can expect that you're going to see our Jeet Jets, our Where Ya Ats, and you will see something called the 412-Dos, which are coming from our friends over at Made in PGH. Channing, tell us what's going on this week.
What's up, everyone? It's Channing with Made in PGH, back again with the 412-Dos. For those who don't know, Made in PGH is a curated platform dedicated to bringing you the finest Pittsburgh has to offer. We feature events, small businesses, and we also plan our own really exciting events. So follow us at Made in PGH on Instagram and madeinpgh.com. All right, let's get right into it. I have some upcoming Pittsburgh events, starting with Best Bites. This is Made in PGH's ultimate foodie tour. It's a self-guided tour, and we do it in different neighborhoods. And it is on August 24th from noon to 4, and we are bringing it to East Liberty. There's over 22 stops. Each stop will serve their fan favorite either dish or cocktail, so you'll have a nice variety of savory, sweet, and some alcoholic beverages as well. So it's just a fun way to spend the afternoon with friends and family walking around East Liberty, trying some of the new restaurants as well as some of the originals. A few of the stops to mention are Square Cafe, Mola Sushi, and City Kitchen in Bakery Square. Tickets are on sale now at bestbitespgh.com. Again, that's on August 24th from noon to 4 in East Liberty. Okay, next event on my list is the Pittsburgh Renaissance Festival, taking place in West Newton, happening on weekends from August 24th through the 29th, and that's including Labor Day. There will be different themes each weekend. There's great food and drinks, live entertainment, kids activities, so it's a super exciting festival taking place again August 24th through September 29th. Tickets range from $11 to $25, and kids under 5 get in free. Another exciting event is the Pittsburgh Irish Festival, happening September 6th through the 8th at Kerry Blast Furnace. Such a cool venue. There's an amazing lineup of musicians and dancers all the way from Pittsburgh to New York to Ireland, so you really get a taste of the Irish culture. And there will be fun activities and shopping for all. Check out our full lineup of end of summer events in Pittsburgh on madeinpgh.com. That's all I have for you for the 412-Dos. Be sure to follow us at Made in PGH on Instagram and Facebook, and madeinpgh.com. Bye.